All right. Heck yeah, let's start that Twitch stream. Let's make you guys look at me. There you go. Now you get to see me. You just get to see me in all my glory. Nope, you didn't see that. There we go. Okay, give me just a second. We're finalizing a couple things. Get that live chat visible. And let's get everything, make sure we're good on Twitch. Do we have the audio? We do. All right. Perfect. So, today we are obviously going to be talking about Drukhari, but before we dig into that, I am a veteran of the United States Army. I served in active duty for about 5 to 6 years. I had a stop loss that kept me in for about 13 months past my ETS date. So, Memorial Day and Veterans Day both are important holidays to me. I have lost friends that were very near and dear to me, and I just want to, you know, just tell everybody Happy Memorial Day. I appreciate, the support that I get from people who thank me for my service, and I'm being genuine. Like, I just want everybody to know I do thank you. I do appreciate the support, and I wanted to say something about Memorial Day. You know, I'm a veteran. I'm never going to guilt shame you for having cookouts and celebrating Memorial Day the way you celebrate Memorial Day. I'm going to have a cookout. Uh, you know, it's an important day for me for a lot of reasons. I get to spend it with my family, which is very important to me. And I do take time to, honor and remember those that I've lost that were very close to me in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. I, you know, it's one of those where I just veterans, like, we don't have to guilt shame people. We can be sad. We don't have to try to make everybody else sad. Let them have their fun, let them have their cookouts. They don't need to experience what we experience in order for Memorial Day to be important to us. You know, just let people do what they're doing and be happy. Let's all try to, have a good day today. Even if you're sad because you're remembering those that have fallen, still try to make it a good day. Find something positive about it. And that's all. Like I said, I just wanted to have that quick talk with everybody because every year I do see veterans that are just like, this isn't about cookouts. This is about that. You should be ashamed, blah, 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 blah. Guys, I'm sorry. It hurts me, it hurts you, but it doesn't have to hurt everybody else. So let's all just try to move forward and have a good day. Moving on, we are going to talk about the Drukhari faction focus. I have not gotten to dig into this at all. So let's look. This is my first interaction. Hopefully, it's a bit better than the orc one looked. But there's only one way to find out, friend. Give me 1 second. I have little gremlins making noise, and it's very distracting. And now they gotta leave. Little gremlins gotta leave. So here we go. Latest news. Faction focus. Drukhari. The Drukhari reap and sow a harvest of pain. I know people like that, right? Oh, did I not click on it? I thought I did. What a silly goose. Oh, I did. I just. Shh. All right, raiders from the Dark City. Millennia ago, Eldari society reached such a pinnacle of debauchery that the psychic and emotional overload birthed the fourth chaos god, Slanesh, who immediately set about feasting on the souls of almost the entire race. Some of the survivors duly devoted themselves to asceticism or the performing arts to save their doomed race from the she who thirsts, while others settled down to farm dinosaurs or simply fled into the void. Not so the Drukhari, who just want to keep the party going. Yeah, party bus. These heartless hedonists soon discovered that they could feed on pain and anguish to replenish their threadbare souls, saving them from being consumed for all eternity by Slanesh. These haughty reavers now range across that blah blah. Okay, we got it. We all know what they are. They stanky. We get it. Faction rules. The Drukhari are cutthroat corsairs who conduct lightning-fast real space raids that prey on the mortals they see as little more than cattle or playthings. Blah, 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 blah. Gaining yet more power from pain. Army rule. Power from pain. If your army faction is Drukhari, units in your army with this ability can become empowered through pain. This is done using pain tokens. If your army, you gain pain tokens as follows. So in a typical 2,000 point game, you're going to get 3 pain tokens. Bro, this sounds like a Friday night if you ask me. Each time an enemy unit is destroyed, you gain 1 pain token. Each time an enemy unit fails a battle shock test, you gain 1 pain token. Each time you gain a pain token, keep it to the side in your pain token pool. This all makes sense. On top of the pain tokens each Drukhari army starts with, you can get them, blah, 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 to remind you, okay. Empowered through pain. At the start of any phase, you can expend 1 or more pain token points from your pain tokens from your pain token pool. Each time you do, select 1 unit from your army with the power from pain ability. Until the end of the phase, that unit is empowered and gains the abilities listed below depending on the phase. Empowered in the movement or charge phase, you reroll advances or charge rolls made for that unit. Empowered in the shooting or fight phase, reroll the hit roll. Okay? If a unit is empowered through pain in the movement or charge phase, they can re-roll their advance or charge rolls, throwing themselves. Yeah, okay, that just explains it. So that's obviously a pretty massive nerf, um, without having any other context, right? If we just look at this for what it is, oh, you know what? Welcome to the chat room. Okay. If we just look at it for what it is, it's obviously a massive nerf. If you don't know, we'll take a look, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be or should be, right? Because we don't have the full context yet of the rules. So let's take a look at Drukhari, Wahapedia. Let's find them power from pains, though, right? Because it is one of the better army-wide bonuses in the game. Like, this army, if it didn't have it, would like not ever be competitive. You know, in Newer Discovering, you get a 6-up invulnerable save. So that right there is what keeps you from dying instantly, and you still pretty much die instantly. And then turn 2, you get Advance and Charge. Flensing Fury isn't an important one, but turn 4, you get a 5-up invuln. So like, and those stack. So they all get better, and it's army-wide. So now instead of having an army-wide bonus, you get to spend some tokens to gain different abilities. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know because we haven't looked at the data sheets yet. And the data sheets may be a little bit better, and then they may just have invulnerable saves baked into some of their data sheets. So we'll have to see. But in a vacuum, just looking at it, it is a nerf. And I'm not, again, it probably needed it to be to some degree. And again, some of those power from pain abilities might just end up on data sheets. Let's keep scrolling to find out. Real Space Raiders is the detachment rule. And I kind of figured this was going to be it. I figured with the index, we were going to get shoehorned into playing a space raid, which is fine. That's generally what I play right now anyway, but that's simply because I don't have enough racks to build an all rack army, like oops, all racks, you know? Uh, whoopsie. So it's one of those where I tend to play space raids. I've got some grotesques. I do a little bit of everything. But if you're playing a space raid at the start of the battle, you gain an additional pain token for each one of the following that your army contains: an Archon, a Succubus, and a Homunculus. So that's interesting because that tells me I don't have to have all 3 then. It just tells me each one gives me an additional pain token. I get the feeling the Succubus is probably getting a pretty stout nerf. Although, again, to be fair, she basically had one loadout that was just stupid good, and the rest of them were just kind of bleh. But I bet that one loadout does not exist anymore, and that's the precise blows with the triptych whip. Like, I'm sure that that is probably gone to some degree. I'm curious to see how poison works. Just want to say that before we dive into the data sheets. Let's go. And again, man, just been in a pretty solid, I don't know, like just been a little out there the last few days. So stick with me. Let's take a look at the Venom, which actually that's cool because I do tend to run a lot of Venoms too. You can replace its splinter rifle with a splinter cannon because it has a splinter cannon and a twin splinter rifle. Transport. So we're getting. So again, I said this before. We weren't getting the full data sheets, and I think we're kind of getting the full data sheet here. This model has a transport capacity of 6 infantry models, and it cannot transport grotesque models or models that can fly. I don't remember if they could move grotesques before the Venoms. I really don't, because I honestly always start with my grotesques on the table. I never put them in a transport. Before the battle, to start of the declare battle formation step, you can select one Cabalite Warriors or Witches unit from your army. If you do, that unit is split into 2 units, each containing equal number of models as possible. Holy smokes! Uh, I'm just gonna read through this again because yeah, I don't agree with you or don't disagree with you, JD. But we'll see. I mean, from what I've seen so far, named characters are just kind of the way to go in this edition. And obviously, we haven't seen a lot of not named characters for armies in these previews. But the named characters, like this, looks like a kind of hero hammery edition so far from what I've seen. Let's take a look at this transport, though. This is interesting. Let's zoom it up in there. Hopefully, you guys can see it a little better. Yep. Before the battle, at the start of blah, 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 you can split a warrior or witch unit into 2 units, each containing as equal number of models as possible. When splitting a unit in this way, make a note of which models form each of the 2 new units. One of the units must start the battle embarked within this transport. The other can start the battle embarked within another transport, or it can be deployed as a separate unit. So that's actually super interesting. And I know it's probably not the most efficient use of it, but immediately I'm like, man, I could actually have a unit of witches and a unit of warriors, and I could split them both in the middle, and then have like uh, 3 warriors and 3 witches in one venom, and 3 warriors and 3 witches in another venom. And again, I'm not saying that's going to be an efficient or good use of it. I just find that to be a very interesting use of it, and the ability to have so many little micro units just kind of dancing around could be interesting. Let's go back to that. Let's see. Actually, we're going to keep that zoomed in. These are kind of, I don't know, maybe it's me. And that's also super fair, buddy. It could very well be, and that would also make sense. And we may find out in a minute here. You may have to take them in 10. Like I said, I haven't looked at this yet. This is my first time going through this. So we will find out hopefully today. So the Venom moves 14. So I think that's a nerf there. Let's find out. I want to say they move 16 right now. Yep. So they lost 2 inches. I agree, JD. Like even if dude above you is right there in the chat, and it's still 10-man units. Being able to combat squad is very interesting. Athletic aerialist. Nope. Let's look at the. So it's T6 still. Or, well, it went from T5 to T6, which, okay. I'm not surprised that it's not like T7 or T8, even though, like vehicles are super tough. Like, Drukhari have always just kind of had these flimsy paper mache vehicles. It does have 6 wounds, which it did, so it didn't get more wounds. Its leadership is 6, its OC is 1. It has a splinter cannon, which, Anti-infantry 3 plus, which is pretty cool. That's the first 3 plus I've seen for an anti. That's actually pretty wild. But other than that, it didn't really change. It's 3 attacks, ballistic skill 3, strength 3, -1, 2 damage, anti-infantry 3. It does get sustained hits, which is pretty spicy. I like it. And then the splinter rifle is 2 attacks with rapid fire 1. So that means if you're within half range, you'll get 3 attacks. Because remember, rapid fire just adds that number within half range, and it's twin linked. So that one's pretty interesting because it's going to reroll wounds. And it's assault. Holy smokes. So those splinter rifles, and I remember, I don't know if you guys saw it, but man, I talked about how, with them going away from weapon types and changing them to keyword rules, you're going to see some combos, and it's really cool to see one. Assault and, rapid fire. So those splinter rifles are looking pretty solid. You are going to have a lot of mobility with splinter rifles that you don't necessarily have right now. The blade veins took a slight nerf. Not surprised. 3 attacks, weapon skill 4, strength 5, 0 AP. It'll be interesting to see if we get the upgrades. Specifically, the 3 bonus attacks for the chain snares, the grizzly trophies, all that stuff. Because I don't think that was in this top part. And they may just all be gone. We don't know, and it could just be gone for the index, and that's another thing to keep in mind is just because we don't see it now doesn't mean it won't come out when the codex comes out. It has Deadly Demise 1, that just means it explodes for 1 mortal wound. It can Deep Strike, which is pretty cool. Firing Dex 6, which, it's open top, so that makes sense. Stealth, it's -1 to hit. Power from Pain, it does get that, which, big shock, I'm sure most of the stuff will have it. At the end of the fight phase, if there are no models currently embarked within this transport, you can select one friendly Drukhari infantry unit that has 6 or fewer models and wholly within 6 of this transport, and they can get back in the party bus, man. Holy smokes. Yes! This looks super cool. That wasn't just a strat specifically for one of the witch cults. I like it. Again, there's a lot of movement and a lot of technicality. A lot of movement. Okay, I'm just going to be all coffee. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm going to mute this so I can hack and not in your ear. There's a lot of technicality that you can do with this and a lot of good, interesting movement things. This is super cool. Like, I really like what I'm seeing from this Drukhari just based off of this one data sheet. They do have the invulnerable save 6 plus. Kind of figured that's how it was going to go, as the invulnerable save just gets shoved to the data sheet rather than being an army-wide rule. Cabalite Warriors. All right, my man. I don't know who you are, Rasma666, but we're about to find out how them Warriors be. So they move 8 inches, which I think is actually an improvement. It's just funny that the Venoms got slower and the Warriors got faster because they did move 7. Yeah. Yeah, it's super awesome, isn't it, JD? Like, that's incredible. At the end of the... Yep. They just can't be engaged. But it's awesome, man. All right, so does this tell us how big the units are? That's the real question. Probably won't. Nope, because we're not going to get the full data sheet. That's the poopy duty. I don't think, man, I don't think it's going to be mandatory 10-man squads, simply because you can. I don't know. Maybe you're right. It's just super weird. I'm going to try not to speculate. It just seems weird that you'd have to bring 10-man squads, but I guess it could be 10 to 20. All right, so ranged weapons. We all know they get the splinter rifle. We already know what that one does. The twin splinter rifle is assault, but the regular splinter rifle is not rapid fire. There we go. That's what I meant to say. So the one on the vehicle is rapid fire, but the one on foot is not. They're all assault now, which is, again, yeah, it is. Like I'm not going to disagree with you being able to break them up, like taking a 6 model unit of Cabalite Warriors and then just being able to break them into 2 3s, and then doing the same with Witches is also weird. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that index works out because, like I said, it's crazy. Is a little weird. All right, so if you control them, nope. Let's look at the guns first. Blast pistol, strength 8, neg 3, D3. So that's yeah, that's toned down quite a bit. I don't know if we've seen Inferno pistols for Marines, but I'm curious to see if those are also toned down. Probably not, because they have that sweet Imperium keyword. The blaster, which is 18-inch range, we've got 1 attack. So it's the old strength 8, neg 4, d6 damage. It's still strength 8, neg 4, d. Oh my gosh. So this is a lot of the guns in the army. Like, this is it. There's not a lot of variance. Let's check it out. Because the Reaper is gone. Or Ravager, right? No, Reaper, the Forge World one. That's gone. The Ravager is 3 Dark Lances, right? And Blade Veins. So what? Dark Lances are strength 12, neg 3, d6 plus 2. Blasters basically got no love. So I could see this still being an army that struggles into high toughness things, just based off of what I'm seeing, especially if it's high toughness vehicles. Now we don't know, obviously, because we haven't seen everything yet. But this is a lot of the guns. Like, there's not many more guns in this army. Let's see, shredders. How many attacks? D6 attacks, assault, and torrent. Whoa! So the shredder's now auto hit at strength 6 is 0 AP. So the shredder's looking pretty solid for a good anti-infantry. They don't have blast, but they have a lot of dice there then. Because if you have, like, if you put, what are the drop down dudes? Scourges. If you can get 4 shredders on a scourge, that's 4d6 shots that auto hit at strength 6. There's no AP, but you're going to force a lot of saves. And, the way we tend to play, where I play at, is like, hey, man, you can't make them all. Like, if I just drown you in dice, you can't make them all. Obviously, we saw the Splinter Cannon, anti-infantry, heavy sustained hits. It is ballistic skill 4, so the heavy weapons look like they went to ballistic skill 4, so that if they stand still, they can get +1 to hit, and then you can spend your pain tokens on them to get them to reroll their hits. So that's not the end of the world. Let's see. Melee weapons, the Sybarite. Oh, okay. So they just gave him a Sybarite weapon. That doesn't matter if it's a power sword. It's poison 3 effectively. It is -1 AP, so it's not quite the agonizer, but still pretty solid. And then just regular smacks. If you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase, and this unit or any transport it is embarked in is within range of that objective marker remains under your control. Oh man! Yes, JD. And Cabalites get sticky objectives, and if they're in a transport, their transport gets sticky objectives. Wow! I'm telling you, like, I don't know how quote unquote strong or good they're going to be, but this looks like just a good faction. Like, it looks fun, it looks neat. They have a lot of like mechanics and gimmicks that are pretty cool, man. And they've got the 6-up invulnerable save. Weapon spotlight. What do we got here? Drukhari Haywire blasters. So these are probably going to be without looking, I'm going to guess that they're anti-vehicle 4+ devastating wounds. It is. It's super good for an army that needs to be on the move all the time. Sticky objectives looks really good, right? I 100% agree with you. I'm pumped to get these back on the table, man, because I like them now, and I don't feel like I feel like they're probably going to be a little bit less lethal, which is fine, but the ability to just like be able to move and reposition as much as they look like they're going to be able to is going to help keep them alive. Drukhari Haywire Blasters. So, like I said, I think they're going to be anti-vehicle devastating wounds. That's the hope, man. That's the hope. Let's see. Range. Anti-vehicle, devastating wounds, and twin link. So it's going to reroll its wounds. And it still gets 2 attacks. Well, oh, so it's only 2 attacks now. It's not D3. There we go. It does hit on 4s, but that's on the Talos, which they already hit on 4s anyway. But again, you can spend your power from pain tokens to reroll hits. So if you're just getting in, right, power from pain is still there, but it's no longer just cumulative bonuses. You spend tokens to let a unit reroll advance rolls if you do it in the movement phase, reroll charge rolls if you do it in the charge phase, reroll hit rolls if you do it in the fight or the shooting phase. So you can spend one of those tokens. He can reroll his hit rolls, and he inherently rerolls his wound rolls. Now, they are only AP 1 now, which is kind of the poopy duty. They went from neg 3 to neg 1. Like, that's a big drop. But they do also just do flat 3 damage. So if you wound a vehicle, it's taking 3 mortal wounds and the AP's irrelevant. And it's probably to prevent it from just being able to shit on infantry. Because I'm telling you, like, I've definitely used my haywires to just be like, oh, you're like T3, T4. I'm just going to try and shit on you with these then. I don't care. Oh, Lilith, let's go. Lilith's blades are anti-infantry, so she's poison 2+ with sustained hits. So she gets hit rolls explode twice of 6. She gets 8 attacks, so she doesn't change that much. Like, no joke. That's not a big shift from where she was. Let's take this up. It is AP2. I think she was like AP4 because there were power swords or something. But let's check it out. Because she's got her blades, neg 3, and an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores 1 additional hit. But then I think it's her Warlord trait gives her hit rolls of 6 explode also. And she gets 7 attacks. So yeah, she actually doesn't change that much. So that's actually pretty cool. I dig it. Once per battle, Lilith can put on a thrilling spectacle, which increases her to 12 attacks and her invulnerable save to 3+. Uh, Man, heck yeah. Well, even if my orcs look like the poopy duty, I can at least take comfort in knowing that I can play some Dark Elves and still have fun. Stratagem Spotlight, let's take a look. Alliance of Agony, you any one Archon, one Succubus, and one Homunculus from your army. Discard a pain token from your pain token pool. All 3 of them are empowered. So that's pretty cool. For 1 CP, you can empower them all till the end of the phase. But you have to have all 3 to use this strat. Dude, and it ain't no safety dance, man. I'm going to show my age. You can dance if you want to. Uh, that strat's actually pretty cool because then they can just all 3 reroll hits until the end of the phase, right? So again, keep in mind for 1 CP, her plus the Archon plus the Homunculus can reroll their hit rolls. We can just fish for 6s. Each 6 generates 2 hits. Good gravy. Let's take a look at this. So if we've got, like, if we pop the ability that gives her 12 attacks and she hits on 2s, that's a roughly 84% hit rate, right? So we're going to roughly average. Thanks, JD. I appreciate that you got it. You're going to get 10 hits right out the gate, right? And even if because you're going to average 2 6s with that roll. But that means you're going to net 4 hits, right? Or 6, because each hit gets 2 additional hits. So with 2 6s, 2 of those are actually going to equal 6, which is 4. So you're going to average 14 hits with 12 attacks with her. And you can just fish for sixes then, right? Like I dig it, man. I dig it. Uh I think Drukhari at least look very fun. I really like the mechanics that they got. I don't have the full context of the rules, obviously, and we're only going to be working with the index, but it looks like they did a good job of keeping the flavor of the army and kind of working within the confines of what they want from 10th and then having this army work with those and be good. Uh, I'm pumped. Like I said, I already like Drukhari a lot. They're my second favorite army in the game in terms of their table feel, and I just have a lot of fun with them. So I am looking forward to having a lot of fun with them. So I do have a question for everybody that's watching right now. We got a few viewers on Twitch. We got a few viewers on YouTube. Um, there is a 10th edition battle report. I can't remember if it's going on Warcom yet. Let's find out. Actually, it might already be on here. I don't think it's already on here. And it might be on Warhammer Plus, right? I might have to sign in, probably get a copyright strike if I do it. But would you guys be interested in doing a communal viewing and like a reaction of it? Because if you would and you want to do it live, I'll do it live. Like I said, it's one of those where I'll probably get a copyright strike for it, and that's okay. I don't mind. Uh, the worst thing that's going to happen is my boss tells me I have to take it down, right? So if it's something everybody's interested in, definitely let me know. You can let me know in the comments too. If you're not watching live, feel free. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Also, I think Drukhari look really cool. I think they look really fun. I think they look super neat, and I am excited to get them on the table. But yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think. We're going to wrap up here. I want all of you to have a wonderful Memorial Day. Have your cookouts, have your fun, do your thing, drink a beer or whatever it is you do. And, if you're not stateside, just live your life then. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk to you later.